Afternoon, G-Spree gang, welcome back. So today I kind of just wanted to touch up and recap on my experience with Next Fest this October. Even though Next Fest happened or ended like 2 weeks ago, I had to get the Supervive video out last week, even though it kind of tanked and it was a really bad video. I'm just not happy with that video at all. But Supervive was super fun. So I'll touch up on that in this video along with a couple of other games that I played and tested throughout Next Fest. So the big kickers right off the bat with two, we're just going to get these right out of the way. Windblown was absolutely fantastic. Treecan and Wyatt and I beat the game together and it was just absolutely fantastic. We're super excited to see where it goes and we're super excited to play more. And the second game is Warden's Will. So since Warden's Will participated in a Next Fest demo a couple of Next Fests ago, apparently news to me, you can only enter Next Fest one time, which obviously makes sense because, you know, that would just kind of be stupid if you could, oh, here's my demo, here's my demo, here's my demo every single Next Fest. Warden's Will entered closed beta on Friday, last Friday, and the boys and I played, so you can see 3 hours of content of just me, and eventually Wyatt joins me for some Warden's Will. However, the commentary is not exactly focused around Warden's Will for the most part, but it was enjoyable. We had a good time.
Could you imagine? Could you imagine? Flash forward like 70 years in the future, and it's just like
That still won't work.
just instead of like a bunch of old people gathering for like bingo party, they're all just like watching Markiplier play FNAF. And they're all just it's just a room full of old people.
That.
It's just a room full of old people going or.
It's just a bunch of old people, and you just Mark goes, "Hello, everybody," and then all the old people go, "Hello, everybody."
Hello, Markiplier.
I'm super happy with the changes, and I probably will launch a actual video on that in the coming weeks, so be on the lookout for that one. Alright, so now that that's out of the way, let's get into the actual demos that I played, shall we? Also, this is completely new to me because I don't think I've talked about more than one game or two games in a single video, so this is going to kind of go crazy. So we'll see how this goes, so let me know. Alright, we're going to go alphabetical here. So first up, I want to talk about Blue Hunter. Now, Blue Hunter is a kooky little funny little game that I kind of just downloaded. I'm like, if I get around to it, I'll play it, whatever. It looks like just a pretty generic card game, like battler, like Slay the Spire-esque. And I played it and it was stupid fun. Like it was just joyous fun. So this game, there's a lot of aspects in this game that are very heavily inspired by solo leveling. So if you like solo leveling and if you like Slay the Spire, I mean, you might as well check it out at least. It's pretty entertaining. So you basically start out with this guy and then you get a stat sheet and you can level up like your crit chance, your dodge chance, your attack power, your a couple of other things I don't quite remember. But the first one run through that I had, I maxed out my dodge chance, and yeah, you can max out your dodge chance at 100%. So a little bit of balancing is needed, but it was stupid fun because I got super far into the game. I actually beat the game, I guess, because it's a demo, because I literally couldn't be hit. But you get your attack cards, you get your block cards, and then you kind of just go at it. There's a couple of cards that base off of like effects of different cards. There's crit chance where some cards will, you know, if this card crits, it deals double damage. If this card crits, it does another crit afterwards. There's a card that costs 2 mana, and for each card, it increases the amount of damage for that card by 1. So if you play, you know, the long game, you'll get a couple of rounds in, you get to play like 40 cards. This card's gonna do 40 damage. It's kind of nuts. Pretty cool. But it was just kind of stupid fun. You know, you go into your battle and then you fight your 1 or 2 or 3 monsters, and at the end of it, you get to choose if you want to add that monster to your deck. Basically, if you want to arise the monster for your shadow army, that's basically what this is. But it's really cool. Like the whole HUD and everything is very like video gamey, simulation-y-esque, kind of like how it feels in solo leveling. And they even use the word arise for like bringing or adding a monster to your deck. Like it's basically if Slay the Spire had a solo leveling skin. I was surprised by how much I enjoyed it, let's just say that. Next up, we got Knights in Tight Spaces. So I believe the developers of this game have a few other games, or at least one other game, of fights in tight spaces, but you're basically on a little grid area and you have cards where you can play your movement abilities or your attack abilities, and you just kind of try and beat up everything in the area. And you know, there's an overarching story with some dialogue and some neat characters, and you get to choose between, at the beginning you get to choose between a cleric and a rogue. You get different weapons which allow you to play different cards. There's different, you know, obviously there's different playstyles, you can push the enemy off the board and kill the enemy that way. But I played the cleric for a little bit. Didn't get super far into the game, obviously, because it's a demo. But I absolutely love the art style of this game. I love the camera angles. You can adjust the camera angles. You can, shifting gears, just totally gut jab somebody behind you with your elbow. It's a really unique game, and I think the physics are great. Let's just say that. The physics are great. And the response of you playing cards and you attacking it's not always going to be the same. If you're facing this way and attacking this way, it's going to be different than if you're facing this way and attacking that way, or attacking this way or attacking this way. So it's a very dynamic playfield. But there's going to be 8 characters to choose from. 6 characters were teased in the starting menu. And can I just say that the music, the intro music, and just the music score in this entire game slaps so hard. If I can find a soundtrack for this game, it's going to be playing over the course of this entire video. It's absolutely amazing. I love the score in this game. That's kind of all I have for now. For the gameplay mechanics, there's, you know, your basic attack, there's your basic, I have block, and I have healing, and then I have 3 energy that I have to use to play cards. But they've got this thing called momentum, which you can stack up to 10, and there's specific cards that cost specifically momentum instead of mana to play, and there's some cards that do more damage based on the amount of momentum you have. I haven't really, you know, straddled the idea of momentum and how to use it properly, but it's a very cool concept, I will say. It's a little bit slower to play than Slay the Spire from the little bit that I've played so far, so the combats are going to take a little bit longer, depending on obviously who you're playing, how you're playing, you know, what build you're playing. And also, I'm super new, and in every single card in Slay the Spire, I don't even have to look at the description. I can just play it because I know what it is. So I'm sure there's you know, that too, that it comes with experience, that you can kind of just, oh, this goes here, this does this, I'm gonna, you know, do this. But it's very interesting. I highly recommend you check it out. I mean, I've got some gameplay playing out behind me, so hopefully that catches your fancy if you're into that. Specifically, the play style is the reason that I saw this on Twitter and I was like, I want to play this demo. This looks great. Next up, I really want to talk about this cute little game called Square Wars, which is kind of like a city builder, idle. I don't know if you would call it a battler, but also card game. So you draw cards, you play cards on your field. You're given a randomly generated field with, you know, mountains, grass plains, wheat, rocks, and minerals. Like the minerals are, I don't think there's coal. There might be coal, but there's like iron and gold. And it's like, I was more expecting it to be in the style of Knights and Castles, but a card game where you play down your stuff and whatnot. But I get into it, and it's an idle, like, you collect materials like wood and your coal or iron, gold, whatnot, your people, and then you buy more cards to get more resources, buy more cards to get more resources, and then just kind of take over the entire playing board, I guess. There's other squares, which is why it's called Square Wars, and you, I guess, try and fight them. I didn't get that far in the demo, but it was super enjoyable. It was super chill just to kind of idle and collect some resources and expand your expanse. It feels like a little bit of a tycoon game, but obviously it's not, because there's, you know, an actual combat mechanism and a run-based mechanism, because the game will end when you win or lose. So that's kind of cool. I just kind of wanted to drop this in here really quick. Now we have Supervive, which was the game that we played the most during Next Fest, which if you watched my Supervive video last week, I'm really sad about it, because not only did it turn out to be like a crap video, but it was just a crap video all around. So anyway, I'll try to make a better video on that in the next couple weeks, maybe. I have some footage for it. It's interesting, but we absolutely enjoyed playing it. It was a super fun demo. It was a super fun feeling to play a new kind of MOBA. It's really interesting when you get into a new MOBA, because you don't have a bunch of people with a ton of veteran experience that you're going to run into all the time. Everybody is trying to figure out how the game works, and then in that short amount of time that the beta is up, people figure stuff out. So if you're interested in more Supervive, let me know and I'll expedite that video to next week. Otherwise, it'll probably be in 2 weeks or 3 weeks maybe. Finally on our list is Temtem Swarm, which, I don't know, man. Connor and I played Temtem Swarm for, you know, about an hour or two, and it's basic. So it's a bullet heaven, right? So you are playing as a Temtem. This is based off of Temtem. So if you don't know what Temtem is, basically rip off of Pokemon again. But you get to play as a Temtem. You get to unlock more Temtems to play as, and they have different skill sets, abilities, whatever. And it's a Swarm-like roguelike game, bullet heaven, similar to Vampire Survivors. We didn't get to an end, but there was a few things that caught our eye. So first off, the game feels like crap to play. we are very spoiled by having Spell Brigade as being one of the greatest bullet heaven games I have ever played. So going from Spell Brigade to Temtem Swarm is just a huge downgrade, and we played the League of Legends Swarm. Connor really enjoyed it, but I did not like it. Maybe the huge swarm enemies are just not for me. Maybe it's because it was kicked up and kicked out maybe in a quick time, but it just didn't feel too great to play. Temtem Swarm doesn't feel great to play. There's a couple of like just quality of life things that could, you know, be increased, and I don't really know what they are because I'm not a game developer and I'm not a game critiquer. I guess I am, but not really. I'm not qualified to be a game critiquer, that's for sure. But the detection just feels a little bit off. The movement just, I don't know, it doesn't feel very solid. But the upgrades throughout the game do feel good. The trinkets that you get, you can have 4 different attacks that are going on. You can have 4 little trinkets or something, I think they're called, but they just like increase the, you know, your health or your armor or the damage that your X element does attacks do. But then let's get into the little nitty gritty part. So you pick up these things called cogs, or I don't know if they're called cogs, so they're something. And then outside of the run, you can use those to upgrade your skills. And there's these giant skill trees for the Temtems. And first off, we just had the one character unlocked. We found out how to unlock the second character, so we'll get to that in a second. But there's a nice skill tree, nice looking skill tree for the first character. And it was like, oh, we'll just, you know, flood everything into this one character. This is going to be great. We unlock a second character. We go over to them. We look at their skill tree. Completely different skill tree. And these nodes aren't cheap to buy. And so it just, the skill tree, we were very, very happy with the skill tree. And it's like, oh, this is really cool. So like Spell Brigade has, it's not a skill tree, but it has upgrades that you can purchase. Temtem has a skill tree for each Temtem, and there was like 30 shadowed out Temtems in there. So you have to specifically purchase, oh, I want to put everything into this guy, or you could put in a little bit into this guy, into this guy, into this guy, into this guy. But you have the entire, like, everything that you make, all of your income has to go to one of those Temtems that you want to upgrade, which just feels bad. So it exponentially just increased the amount of time that you would have to play the game if you want to, you know, level up and get the skill trees completed on even just a couple of the characters that you want. So it just, I don't know, the progression system just felt like way too long to have to do, if that makes sense. I don't really know, because like you can consider it like time to beat. If you considered upgrading all of the skill trees in all of the Temtems as your completionist for Temtem Swarm, you would be there for tens of hours, because you probably have to play like, I don't know, rough guesstimate of maybe 8 to 10 hours just to fully level up the skill tree of one Temtem, and multiply that by 30 is very exponential. Let's just, yeah, it's very exponential. It's kind of gross to think about. Anyway, not satisfied with Temtem Swarm. Shocking, Gavin doesn't like a roguelike that he actually reviews on the channel, but that's kind of why I like this style of video so far, is I can talk about a couple of games and then I can actually hit a thumbs down on one of them. Anyway, I think that's just about going to do it for this video. I think this was a very fun experience, and I'll probably try and do something like this in the future with some other demos, or maybe just the next fest. We'll see. The weekend's gone by now. I have to go on a business trip next week, so I've got to work on a couple of more videos here so that you guys can enjoy some G-Spree while I'm away. I'm not going to be gone that far. I just kind of want to, you know, work ahead anyway. I probably should work ahead anyway, so I can have, you know, delegate some time to other things, like getting this stupid G-Spree overstock announcement video done, which I feel like I talk about too much. I don't actually know how many people stick around for this part, so I don't know how many ears this is actually going to hit or how many eyeballs this is actually going to hit. But yeah, check out G-Spree overstock. There's a couple of videos on there right now. It's going to be better. The quality is going to be better of those, but I mean, it's gonna be good. That channel is gonna be awesome. I'm super excited to launch that officially. Anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you do want to see more, I guess subscribe, and I'll be back next week with some more whatever it is that I'm doing. Have a good one.